Hi everybody, it's November 13th, and I'm working on the second color of the blanket. I had already rolled up the two balls of yarn, separated them in two balls of yarn, and I joined it together to make the blanket really thick, to give it a nice solid color border. And here's what it looks like now. Ta-da! I'm using no pattern at all. I'm now filming my vlog today because my nieces were here and they were on the phone playing, watching little kid videos. They were doing their thing while, like, okay, now will be a good time for me to work on the blanket because I'm almost done. So here's the blanket now. Should we adjust it a bit so you guys can see me working on it for a bit? Just fix that there. Just show you guys what I'm doing here. Hope you guys can see this. It is the afternoon now. It's like 12 o'clock now. So I'm just showing the update on the blanket. It is Thursday, and I started making this blanket on Monday afternoon. Well, at IB therapy on Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's been like 3 days, which is really neat. So I'm just going to work on this yarn, work on this blanket, and finish it up. Oh dear. Backpack is getting my other ball yarn stuck. I have to make this evened out. That's what I'm trying to do. It's not evened out yarn. As I pull it. Okay. Let's see. Make sure it's all evened out. So, I've been editing the other video from the other blog footage I did yesterday on my phone. Been editing those and uploading them one at a time. I was trying to upload the gameplay footage I had from yesterday to its own separate video, but it was taking too long on my first upload for my Webkins gameplay blog yesterday, so I deleted the other gameplay video and just uploaded the hour-long gameplay footage of me playing Webkins yesterday on my niece's account. So I got that uploading still. It takes a while as it is an hour-long gameplay video, so while I'm editing all those videos, I have another gameplay video I did yesterday of just me playing the game, no audio, no commentary at all. I want to do another video where I do play the Pixel RPG or RPG Pixel game again here pretty soon when I'm able to sit down and play it with my input on the game, with me playing the game with my commentary on it, so that I can play it and figure out what to do from there. So far, I like the game. It's okay. It's a little bit hard for me to understand, but I'll keep trying. I logged into my niece's account, play Webkins. I did not get any footage of me playing Webkins next this morning. I just logged in, started playing Webkins, just nonchalantly, didn't even think about it. So now, I'm just going to get this blanket done. Alright, I'm back. I just had to pause it real quick. So, now we're lining up to the tan color. I don't know what kind of color to call this, you guys. It's like a tan color. Just using this yarn and just using what I have. I'm now starting to use just thrifted yarn from the thrift store instead of buying brand new skeins of yarn. And actually the yarn I've been getting from the thrift store the last couple times is actually brand new unused yarn, which is really nice considering that pricing of yarn right now is very expensive. So I am very excited to have found some thrifted yarn that is actually brand new, not even used. All the yarns I've shown in my last couple of videos this month, a little bit towards the end of last month in October, was all the yarn was thrifted yarn, and all of it was brand new, not even used. Maybe a little bit was used on one of them, but everything else was brand new. never been touched, never been used. So it's exciting because, again, yarn can get really expensive. It can add up, especially when you're making big items like blankets, which I always do. So saving money, I'm able to save money where I can. Like, okay, I can just start getting yarn from the thrift store. Might be vintage yarn, but I don't care. I'm gonna use it. Don't care what. I am brand picky. I am preferably a Red Heart yarn user, mainly the Red Heart Super Saver, but that's like the cheapest affordable yarn I can use name brand wise. There is the Walmart brand name Mainstay yarn. It's pretty much their version of the Red Heart Super Saver yarn. Haven't used that one yet, but it's pretty much the same thing. But so far, the last couple of times I made a project, I crocheted a project, it's just me using this yarn from the thrift store, which is really nice. Looking forward to getting this blanket done and being able to get the other first blanket I was working on finished. So I had to untangle that yarn. I'm still in the process of untangling that yarn to fix it. So I have this one in the works. About done with it. Once I get this yarn done, I should be finished with it. See how big it looks. When I'm done, I might add a little color onto it. I don't know. I'll see. But all the yarn I'm using now is all vintage yarn because this color yarn, the main color, watercolor, I believe it was an older yarn. It's an older yarn from Red Heart Yarn. I believe it's discontinued yarn color of a multicolor, so I believe it's discontinued color. I looked on my Walmart website and it didn't pop up for watercolor. And I also looked at the copyright date of the pattern that it showed on the sticker of the color sticker of the price tag, and it showed a 2010 dye lot information. So the yarn, the multicolor yarn, is an older from a long time ago, and then the tan color, I believe it's, I don't know if it was, it's a jumbo yarn, but I don't know what year the dye lot tag was from. I have it in my bag, but a lot of the yarns I'm using now are considered vintage for like the last 10, 15 years, so it's fun using all these older yarns to use instead of brand new yarns from the store. And it's all my go-to yarn favorite, Red Heart yarn. There's a few other yarns. One's like a Burnett baby yarn, and another one's a Hobby Lobby yarn, which is very expensive, or Michael's yarn, branded yarn. Which I never used Hobby Lobby or Michael's brand yarn before, so I'm very excited to use those vintage yarns next. They're baby soft yarns, called Oh So Soft yarns. So, or I love this yarn. It's like a soft baby yarn. It's a Red Heart version of, it's Michael's version of like a Red Heart yarn, but it'd be another fun yarn, another project I can think of something fun to use with those yarns. So it's fun to use what I have and just get the most out of the yarns and turn this. Let's see, there was 3 skeins of this color, the Red Heart watercolor yarn, multicolored yarn, and there was 3 of those. Those were $1. And then the tan color was the bulky, the tan color here, this was beige tan color. This was a jumbo Red Heart Super Saver jumbo yarn. So this was $2 at the thrift store. So in total, $2, $3, $4, $5 pretty much for this blanket, pretty much, which is phenomenal. Seeing that a jumbo thing of yarn would be like $10 now, and then a regular thing of yarn, like the little ones, like the little things of yarn, like a regular skein of yarn, would be, I don't know, like $5, $6 or even more now. So being able to get the yarns for more projects to just crochet with at a price that's actually affordable is great. And they're actually my brand preference, my favorite brand, so able to just use the yarns that I get at thrift stores instead of buying them brand new at Walmart, just to save my family some money, because yarn can get expensive. So at least turn this yarn I only paid a couple dollars for into something beautiful. And if anyone's wondering, do I ever sell the things I make? No, I just make things for my family, and I just make things for my nieces, my baby nephew, and stuff like that. I don't sell the things I make. If I did, I don't think there's pricing plus time, price of yarn, how many hours it takes you to make something, say a blanket, how long it takes you to make it, how many hours. Just a lot of things to put into consideration. So I've never sold any. Well, I tried selling something, but it didn't work. So I don't sell the things I make. I'm sure someone would like it, the things I make, but I don't do that. I don't use any patterns. I just crochet however I've always crocheted. I don't use any patterns. I don't do anything like that for my blankets. I just modify crochet how I always crochet it, how I always do it. I don't use any patterns for anything. I just modify crochet. What I mean by modify crochet is that I been crocheting for a long time, but when I was learning how to crochet, I had to modify it due to my eyesight. So here's an example. When I crochet a blanket, how you usually start by like a chain, like a small chain of chain 3, chain 5. I gotta do like a chain 5 join to make the center circle because of my eyesight. So when I crochet a blanket, I have to modify how I do that to make it to where I can see what I'm doing due to my eyesight. So traditionally, you would only do a couple of chains and then join and then start your granny square blanket. I have to do more chaining when I am crocheting a blanket, and then when I make my corners, for example, I have to do my corners are always bigger than in a regular granny square because, again, my eyesight, I gotta do a chain 5 or a chain 6 when I do make the corners because, again, my eyesight. So then the way I crochet it, I do not join, I don't do the join stitch after each and every row. I don't do that. I don't do a join stitch thing. I want to do a tutorial on how I do crochet my blankets. Each time it's different. There's times where I do a join stitch, and then I do I don't do patterns, I don't read patterns, I don't make patterns, but I like to show how I make my blankets. It's very, very different than how you're supposed to make a blanket, but I just never done a tutorial. I think I've tried, but I never ended up doing it step by step by step in a cohesive video. So being able to sit down and film and show step by step on how I make my blankets. It's the same each time, but yet at the same time it's different as well, depending on how I want to make the certain stitch, it's always a double crochet each time, but just a lot of factors when it comes. I actually tried typing out how I do my blankets but I ended up deleting my notes on how I make my blankets because a lot of it's just very not consistent, not cohesive. It's not how you're supposed to crochet at all. I don't even know what you would call this because I'm not joining anything. I'm not joining my stitches when I'm doing a new row. I just crochet all the way around in a never-ending square with no joining at all. Whenever I'm done, I'm done. I just make a... whenever I am done with my yarn, whenever I am done making the blanket, I try to get it even as I can. Each corner even, same number of corners on each row. On each corner, the same number each time. So that when I do in the blanket, I'm at an even number. Exact same number of corners on the blanket on 4 sides. There's a lot of factors when it comes to me crocheting a blanket, and a lot of things I do very differently. If I try to do a tutorial, it'll be really hard to show you guys. But I hope the one they show you guys, because I think I started making somewhat of a tutorial, but I wasn't able to show you as much in detail as to what I want. So, will I write down like a little makeshift pattern? Probably not. But something to maybe try. But if I do a video, it's going to be like I don't follow patterns. I try to follow a pattern, but I just don't. I just watch videos on how to do a single crochet. I mainly do double crochet because that's what I know. That's what I do the most. I can't get the single crochet down at all. I'm not good at doing single crochet. It's a really hard stitch for me to do. I can make double crochet stitching really fast, but when I sit down and try and do a single crochet, it's really hard for me to do. And I can't make hats. I can't crochet hats either. I think I made like 1 or 2 little hats. Like I made 1 hat once, but everything else I just mainly do blankets. I made other things with my double crochet, but it's mainly just blankets. And then on the circle loom, I've done hats and scarves on the loom knitting looms, on the circle looms, on the round looms. So I done a few tutorials on that years ago. I want to probably do a newer updated version of those tutorials. They were so old. But it'd be fun to do, just sit down and crochet. Before I started filming, I was actually in the beginning of watching Rescue 911, which is one of my favorite medical shows of all time, because my dad watched it when they were brand new, and I watched the reruns, and then between my dad watching them and me watching them, I got the inspiration of doing my own Webkinz spinoff inspired by Rescue 911 so much that I started my own little series, like a parody series of Rescue 911 called Rescue 911. So that was my first series I did on YouTube. So that's something that I was like, hey, you know what, Rescue. Even when I was watching the episode, Dad was eating his breakfast before going to work, and he started saying, I'm really in Snapper, and this is Webkinz Rescue 911. He still does that every single time. And when I have Rescue 911 on, he hears it in the background. He starts like, I'm really in Snapper, and this is Webkinz Rescue 911. So, yeah, good times. So, just get this yarn going to at least finish this blanket. Not really a rush. I just want to film something today. At least film something for the blog today. I don't know what else to really film besides me playing Webkinz. But since I am sitting down talking to you guys, as I was filming while I was doing my Webkinz video, me playing Webkinz yesterday, I have the idea where a thing where I want everybody to do on AGTube, not just American Girl, but anybody who's read American Girl books or might be interested in American Girl or doll collectors in general, but what I love to do would be to read every single American Girl Christmas book, that be the historicals, like Kirsten's Surprise, Samantha's Surprise, Kit's Surprise, all those historical books, mainly the Christmas ones and later on holiday ones, for the historical dolls, because in honor of American Girl releasing the Kirsten's Surprise holiday collector doll for this year, I thought, like, hey, how about I read all of the American Girl Christmas holiday books, because why not? Read them, every single one of them, up until like Christmas Eve or something, just because, why not? Be something fun to do, be a fun sit-down challenge to do. I was thinking, like, okay, I can list as many of the American Girl historical books, but also as many American Girl books that might cover Christmas in their books. In the book series, like Girl of the Year, if there's any Girls of the Year that might have celebrated Christmas at some point in their books, I don't think they did at all. What Girl of the Year characters books take place during Christmas? I don't think a lot of them do, but primarily the historical characters, as many as all the historical characters I can find. Again, all the original 6, the original 8 historicals, only reading the 3rd book. Or in later historicals cases, only reading their Christmas book. Because I know that American Girl, during the Be Forever time era with Linnea, Melody, and Mary Ellen, Melody, and Linnea, their books, they have 2 books joined as like 2 main books, but finding the chapters that covered Christmas. Okay, so there's a lot to cover here, so it'll be a lot of fun to do. Now, I was thinking, like, okay, we can do this in whatever order we want. We can read whatever historical Christmas book that we want, or whatever American Girl Christmas book you can find. It doesn't matter. We can read whatever ones we want in whatever order we want. We don't have to read Kirsten's Surprise first and then read Samantha's Surprise, or read one of the first 6 historical Christmas books. We don't have to do that. We can just read whatever historical Christmas books, which is their 3rd book traditionally, but in the newer books, it changed over time, so that would be a lot of fun to do. I mainly read my books through Internet Archive. I do have a local library, but that'd be cool. You can either read them from Internet Archive, or you can borrow the books from your library. It doesn't matter. I will be doing a separate video covering that as well. Be going in depth about wanting to do the American Girl Christmas Surprise Book Challenge, just for the fun of it, like a fun countdown to Christmas, or whatever, Christmas, Hanukkah, just whatever holiday, mainly Christmas, but it'd be fun to read as many of the American Girl Surprise Christmas books as we can before Christmas, primarily, but it'll be fun to do, because in honor of American Girl releasing Kirsten's Surprise limited edition doll, it'll be something fun to do for a lot of us American Girl fans, or someone who nostalgic for the American Girl books. It'd be something fun. It'd be something that all of us can do, because all I have to do is like go down to the library or read the books on Internet Archive. We don't have to like do anything. We don't have to spend any money to do this challenge. It's something fun. It's easy to do. Just read the books in whatever order you want, and maybe do videos about you doing the challenge, and make a video doing a challenge and starting with your book. I haven't figured it all out yet, you guys. So it's just an idea in progress. Just reading as many as the American Girl books, Christmas books, surprise books as you can. Just something fun to do. I haven't figured out all the fine details. It's something fun, like, hey, I can do this as a fun countdown to Christmas thing, because why not? There's like so many historical books, American Girl historicals, who have Christmas books traditionally, and then also Rebecca and Nikki and Isabel, they are Jewish, and I know Nikki and Isabel are also Jewish and also Christian, so they celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah, so that's really cool. I know that Rebecca, the historical doll, she is Jewish, she celebrates Hanukkah, so we can read her third book, which is her Hanukkah book, and then Nikki and Isabel, their first Meet Nikki, Meet Isabel book, theirs takes place during Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year's as well, so that'd be perfect. So, be fun to do. Alright, it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That is my baby nephew, and he is my executive producer for my videos. Aren't you, baby? You hear that? He's my boss. Yeah, baby nephew, he is my boss. Yeah. Tells me what to do for my videos from here on out. He's happy. He's playing with, sucking his thumb, sucking on his fist. He's a happy boy. Okay, so here's progress on the blanket I've been working on. Ta-da! I got a couple of rows with the beige yarn. I finally figured out what color this was. However, okay, so let's see. So I'm going to come on here to show you the blanket, of course, but okay. I take medicine every couple hours, taking medicine, but anyways, I did not realize that I forgot to take my medicine earlier. I'm sitting here watching Rescue 911, and I'm hurting, and my alarm went off an hour ago. I'm like, okay, I took my medicine, I know I did, I had a cup of coffee, and whatnot, then like an hour later, I'm like, okay, why am I hurting? I knew I took my medicine. Then I go like, Mom, my back's hurting, what do I do? So I checked my pill crusher, and I see that my medicine was crushed in the pill crusher, and it never went into my feeding tube. I never took it. Which isn't the first time this has happened. The reason why I forgot, because I was having issues with my phone charger. Every now and then I had to fix my phone charger. I had to switch it to my sister's for a little while because my phone was at like 1%. I was in the middle of uploading a YouTube video. Like, oh no, I'm at 1%. I'm still in the middle of uploading one of my vlogs. So I'm like, oh no, I can't let my phone die. So I switched phone chargers with my sister, and when that was happening, I ended up forgetting to take I thought I took my medicine. I thought I had my medicine in the medicine cup, because I took my medicine with my coffee. I did a water flush in my bolus. You've seen me take my medicine a million times, you guys, and I've actually even shown more than once. I just showed a few times where I might have forgot my insomnia pill, and there's a few times where I did like, oh, wait a minute, I forgot to take my insomnia pill. But this time, I forgot to take my pain pill. So, that's the reality of things, you guys. I am a busy aunt. I got my baby nephew and my 2 little nieces, and at the time, my oldest niece was over here. She was watching Cookie Swirl C. She loves Cookie Swirl C. And I remember watching Cookie Swirl C, watching some of her older videos. But anyways, so she was watching Cookie, and alright, buddy.
Is it all going to be this way?
Really, buddy?
Cut 'em.
Anyways, yeah, buddy? Oh, goodness. Alright. Baby nephew is getting fussy. I will catch you guys up later.